For the best in natural skincare products, you need Natural Niche Boutique. They're dedicated to providing eco-friendly, moisturizing, and effective products. They provide premium ingredient-conscious products that retain moisture and help improve skin. So say goodbye to toxic products and chemicals that damage your skin and your body within. It's time to treat your melanin with the love it deserves. So don't wait. Visit Natural Niche Boutique and get the best and most luxurious skincare products today. Visit them at naturalnicheboutiques.com. Their website is located in the description box.
So I wanted to give my brief take on the Carmelo Anthony situation. I talked about it on my channel and my message the other day, but I wanted to specify my thoughts about Carmelo Anthony, particularly concerning people backtracking now, right? I just listened to this brother who admitted that he was a hypocrite and that he judged him to be a quote-unquote stereotypical young black man, only to find out that all the things that he thought and believed about him were just not true. And more information, of course, is coming out about his character, his family's background, etc., etc. But one of the things that he spoke about, which I want to address, is this idea of, well, I think he could have, made a different decision, and he could have backed away. He could have used his backpack. He could have done this, and he could have done that, right? Here's the reality. When you're in a situation that, comes out of the blue, you don't really know how you're going to react. And we know scientifically that we all have this fight or flight mechanism in us. So the way in which Carmelo Anthony reacted to this hostile environment, dealing with these known bullies, was a way in which he deemed at that moment, with split-second decision, and how he needed to handle the situation. It's very easy in hindsight to say, well, he could have done something differently. This is a 17-year-old boy. This boy is still in the process of maturation. He's full of testosterone. He's growing, developing. He's an athlete. All of these things need to be taken into consideration. He lives in a racist state. All of these things need to be taken into consideration when judging the decision that he made ultimately to defend himself, right? So people could say, oh, well, you can't necessarily say it's self-defense because he used excessive force. How many times have we seen cops use excessive force? Sonia Massey is a perfect example where excessive force was used, and had not the other officer had his camera on, this lying cop could have very well gotten away with telling the story in his favor and making it seem like she was someone that he should be afraid of. Because isn't that what they always say? Don't they always say, I feared for my life? So this idea that Carmelo Anthony used excessive force, says who? Who has the ability to decide whether or not he used excessive force when at that moment he was operating out of a fight or flight mechanism that we all have, the response system that we all have. So you wanted him to flight, you wanted him to leave, you wanted him to run away, you wanted him to go into the pouring rain, and you want to say, well, it's because of his pride. It's because of his pride that he didn't leave. Excuse me? No. Maybe his first response, because of who he is, because of his skill level in athleticism, is not to run away, but to go forward. Maybe his mechanism said, I need to stand up for myself. I need to make sure that I'm okay. Because he's looking at the reality that there's two big brutish white boys here. And him being a smaller in stature young man, thinking, okay, I got two Goliaths and I'm David. And this is my stone. So I think we have to be very careful, because in hindsight, we can always say what somebody should have done, right? But if you were in that situation, do you know how you would have responded? Do you know how you would have handled yourself when you feel threatened? Now, we don't know what was going through his mind. We don't know. We can assume that he was thinking that, okay, they're going to jump me, but we don't know if he was thinking that they were going to unalive him. We don't know. And he's thinking it's either my life or theirs. So we have to be sensitive to the psychology of this young man. And that's the problem in this system, is that when it comes to our people, there is no sensitivity to our mental state at the time when dealing with grievous situations, stressful situations. We're supposed to just be able to be the ones that handle with maturation these very stressful situations, whereas every other nation gets to feign innocence or say that, you know, they're having a mental breakdown or they were afraid. But when it comes to us, no. Why didn't you operate under a way in which we didn't get harmed? Now you might get harmed, but as long as we're not harmed, it's, you know, then you handled the situation correctly. But we can be harmed all the day long. We see that police officers, without hesitation, will pull out their weapon and use it against one of ours, and then cop the plea.
Yeah.
And so we've got to stop. And again, you know, this is in response to a brother who just put this video up. We've got to stop thinking the thoughts of the colonizers. We got to stop thinking with their mentality, because you came out and you identified that you were a hypocrite because you thought automatically the stereotypes of your own people. Where did those stereotypes come from? It came from the colonizer. So you're not thinking from the perspective of automatically thinking this young man is probably an upstanding student, upstanding son. He's probably a positive role model for his peers. That's not your first thought. Your first thought is he's a thug. Who gave you that thought? Who planted that in your mind? Come on, people. We have to understand that this is where the warfare is. This is where the battlefield is. To where we automatically assume that one of our own has to be devious, has to be a thug, a criminal. Who planted that in our minds? Aren't we acting out their thoughts? So I applaud you for acknowledging your hypocrisy. But to go on and say how Anthony Karmello should have responded, that's not up to you to decide. That really isn't. Because if you were in the same situation, you don't know how you will respond. You could assume that you would know how you will respond, but you don't know until you're there. So that's my thoughts about that. And I just want to say we have to be very careful. How about we switch the narrative when it comes to black life? How about we switch that narrative? How about we start thinking more about those of us who are conducting ourselves with civility, those of us who are conducting ourselves with integrity and morals, instead of the automatic thought processes to be that we as a people are always going to be the stereotypical negative, whether it's black man or black woman. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe. And this is one of the reasons, again, why books like mine, Israelite, are absolutely necessary. Because our identity and the loss of who we really are is a great part of the reason why it is that brothers like him automatically think negative towards our community. It's time to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. So grab your copy of Israelite. If you have not already done so, it is pinned in the comment section. All right, family, until next time, y'all bless and Salaman.